Hello, thank you very much for joining us in this program. This is the critical pillars of sales excellence: how to prospect, sell, win customers, and thrive in the marketplace. My name is Ferdinand M. Ibizin. I am your sales coach and your co pilot as we journey towards our desired destination, which is meeting our sales targets and exceeding our revenue goals. In the last module of this program, we discussed how to use the SPIN model to understand the current situation, the challenges, the implications of the challenges, and subsequently understand the needs of your prospects. The next phase of the sales cycle, if you recall, is to demonstrate capacity. Just to recap, we have 4 phases of the sales call. It starts with opening, then investigating, then demonstrating capacity, and obtaining commitment. This module is focused on demonstrating capacity. In other words, to convince the prospect that your offering and your organization have the capacity to deal with the challenges of the prospect and help them achieve their own business goals. The primary driver for demonstrating capacity is to articulate and communicate your value proposition effectively. So in this module, we shall be erecting the pillar of value-based selling. This pillar is focused on value articulation and communication. Let's start by examining the concept of value. So I ask you, what is value? When you hear or you see the word value, what comes to your mind? What is your synonym for value? Please write your answers in your workbook. Whenever I ask this question to salespeople, I hear words like importance, significance, benefit, utility, advantage, esteem, even valuation, desirability, gain, usefulness, worth, and so on. Now, these are all appropriate synonyms for the word value. However, in the context of our discussion today, the most appropriate word for value, the most appropriate synonym for value is worth. Value is simply the worth that you place on a product, a service, an idea, or a company. My second question is, if you want to buy a product or service for the first time, manufactured or designed by different companies, and these are brands that you haven't used before, and so you don't know which brand is worth more than the other, you don't know which product is worth more than the other, using variables like brand, the features, the benefits, or advantages. What can you use to guess which product is worth more than others? So for instance, if you want to buy a mobile phone for the first time, you haven't used a mobile phone before, so you don't know which one is worth more than the other in terms of features, in terms of battery life, in terms of camera quality, in terms of durability. So you don't know the difference between a Samsung, a Nokia, a Motorola, an iPhone. My question is, what would you use to guess which one is worth more than the others? If you enter a phone shop and you see a variety of mobile phones displayed, remember you don't know the difference between all the brands and the features and the capabilities of those phones. My question is, what would you use to guess which of the phones, which of the products there is worth more than the other? Please write your answers again in your workbook. If your answer is price, then you are right. Because ordinarily, you would assume that the product with the highest price tag is worth more than the others. My question is it possible that you can pay a price to obtain a product based on the assumption, based on the assumed worth of the product, and it fails to deliver up to your expectation? From my experience, the answer is yes. So if that is possible, my third question is, what would you use to describe what made you think that the more expensive product was worth more than the others? Once again, please write your responses in your workbook. The right word in the context of our discussion that made you assume or think that a product that had a higher price tag was worth more than the others is perception. When making a purchase for the first time, people do so based on the perception of the belief that the product or service will meet and exceed the expectations, and that the perceived value outweighs the price they are paying. In other words, value is first of all perceived before it is validated or confirmed. If a product is purchased based on the perceived value, and it delivers as expected, it reinforces that value perception. So it's called value validation or value reinforcement. In such a case, the customer is likely to make repeat purchases, possibly from the same salesperson from the same organization. On the other hand, if a product is purchased based on perceived value but fails to meet expectations, it usually would lead to value erosion or value invalidation. And as a result, the customer is unlikely to make a repeat purchase. So we can therefore define value as the perception of worth that makes you pay a price to obtain a product or service. So in the sales process, value is most clearly and measurably defined as that which will make the prospect take action to obtain or keep or use your product or service. So value is simply what compels a prospect, what compels anybody to make a purchase. It is the perception of value that converts a prospect into a customer. Additionally, the perception of value plays a crucial role in determining the price a prospect is willing to pay. So price, therefore, is paid in exchange of the perceived value. No matter how beneficial, no matter how useful, no matter how important, no matter how distinctive, no matter how fast or dependable or suitable your product or service is, no prospect will buy from you or engage in repeat business if you cannot effectively communicate and convince the prospect that the value they will receive from the offering far exceeds the price they are paying for that product or service. Let me emphasize that point. Price tag is not the sole determinant of the willingness of a prospect to buy or not to buy. It is the perception that the value they will derive from paying that price is higher than the price. And that's why some people are willing to pay higher for a variant of a product or service when they could have gotten a similar product at a lower price. So you have two shirts displayed in a boutique, two white shirts, both long sleeves. One is sold for $10, the other is sold for $50, the same size. Some people would prefer to buy the shirt of $50 rather than the shirt of $10. What they are saying, what they are conveying when they do that is that they perceive that the shirt of $50 is worth much more than the $50. In other words, the value they will derive is higher than the $50. That's why they wouldn't go for the shirt of $10. They're saying that this shirt of $10 would not offer me value higher than the $10. Now, the perception of value can be tangible, it can be intangible.